The opinions voiced in this podcast are for general information only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual. To determine which strategies or investments may be suitable for you, consult the appropriate qualified professional prior to making a decision.
Welcome to How to Money with Kole and Kole.
I'm Kole.
And I'm Kole.
We coach people every day on their money and how to plan for the future.
As financial advisors, we're here to have an honest conversation on investing, retirement, and everything in between.
At Full Swing Financial Planning, we're here to empower you to take control of your plan, your way, for your financial future.
So let's talk money.
And sports. Are you going to make it?
Went down the wrong pipe.
Just intro. This is the actual intro. This is real life, not Instagram.
Cole just took a drink of water and thought he was going to die.
Went down the wrong pipe.
Well, welcome back to How to Money with Kole and Kole.
We got to make sure Cole Jaeschke's okay. Nah, let's just go.
Yeah, let's just roll.
We don't care about him.
Yeah, no. This is Cole Petersen.
Cole, you okay?
I'm back. I'm sorry.
That's how we're introing. That's real life.
Real life intro there.
There you go.
Wow.
I took a drink of water and I thought I was going to pass out. So
That's better than me doing the cheesy, I'm Baileigh, your host.
Baileigh Ashbrook. I mean, you do have to introduce yourself.
Yeah, I am Baileigh Ashbrook. I am the host, the best one on the podcast with Cole.
Does your tailbone hurt after your ice fall at the office?
Actually, it was my shoulder.
We'll put a link to the YouTube video here for the listeners.
It was like an ice storm Saturday. It was bad. And I was in the office over the weekend, and usually you guys lay down the salt. So
I know that's what happens when it happens on a Friday night. It's,
sorry. Work comp. I'm just kidding. Okay, refocus, guys. Let's go.
Here we go. We got to refocus because we're doing our episode on our goals for 2025.
Yep, we're recording before. It's kind of holiday season, Christmas week, but hope everyone had a safe.
Well, we're more
great
recapping.
Christmas.
We're recapping 2024, transitioning to 2025.
Yep, we're going to recap our 2024 goals because we love to do this. We love to hold each other accountable. Who should I pick on first? Cole Jaeschke.
I went through them, and I would say I hit 2 out of 3.
Well, let's recap them.
Really solid. So let's recap here of eliminating. Got multitude of business things going on, and I definitely eliminated 1, and I would say 1.5, honestly. We consolidated a few things. So
do you feel like you have more control of your schedule?
Yeah, Cole, I know, because Cole P's like, hey, I feel like you've been at the office, or normal. I have a couple offices I go to. A normal office, or my day-to-day office more. I'm like, yeah, it's because
you have a home base.
Because I've gotten rid of a couple things that require less of my time outside of here, so I've been able to focus a little more, on the most important part of my business. And not that you weren't engaged with your clients before, but I just see you at the office more present, spending more time on financial planning, and I feel like you've eliminated some of the outside noise. It's been nice.
Sometimes you really got to say no so you can say yes to other things. It's very true.
Funny how that works, though. Sometimes, like, you say no, and then all of a sudden you start saying yes again, and then things kind of so it's
go back to your habits.
Yeah, it's just making sure discipline, just like boards and things that you can, ask to be on. But
all good things.
Yeah, all great things. But it's easy as we're in these roles associated. A lot of people, you get asked, your time. A lot of people want time for you. So
I would agree.
Second goal, being more consistent on going to the gym, eating healthier, especially tied to over the summer. I was eating healthy over the summer. I would say that's 75% I did all right. But going to the gym, staying active, I've been very, very consistent on my schedule. So I'm, I would say I'm checking that one off as I hit that one.
A win.
My last one I didn't hit was reading 4 or 6 physically reading the books. I definitely read or listened to way, way more than that. I read 4. Physically, I'm I guess 3, and I'm like 3/4 done with a 4th, but I listened to probably 10 to 15 start to finish, and I've actually listened to a couple. I listen to a couple books that I really like, so I repeat.
Crazy.
Yeah, Atomic Habits I've listened to multiple times, and then Extreme Ownership I've listened to 6 times. So
Luke's reading that one.
Extreme Ownership, it's one of my favorite business books.
Yep. Okay, Cole P. Hey, great job.
Thank you.
Great job.
Applause.
Yeah, 2 out of 3 is pretty
Pretty
good.
good.
Yeah.
And there's other goals we don't state on the podcast. These are just the ones we shared with the listeners. So
Yeah, you guys all have 3, and I only had 2. I don't know.
okay.
I thought I had a third one.
I think you threw one in at the end.
Yeah, I don't remember what it was.
Let's focus on the 2 at hand.
Okay, 2 at hand. 6 date nights with Molly on the calendar. Definitely succeeded with this one. I didn't exactly count them because we got to 6 and then I just quit counting. So
Out of the park.
Well,
but I tried for
over
1
6.
per month. Tried to like schedule it, and now I also counted some things when we were like out or on vacation.
Trips,
like
when you guys went to Vegas.
yeah, so that counted as 1. I count that as a date night.
I would count a solo trip as a date night.
Yeah. So definitely check that one off. Succeeded on that one. Number 2, stop biting my nails. I failed miserably. A lot harder than I thought it was going to be. So I kind of thought, hey, if I put my mind to it, I can do it. I don't know if anybody knows this, but I quit drinking in September of 2019, and I basically just made my mind up that I was going to quit drinking alcohol. And I thought I could just make my mind up and stop biting my fingernails. Well, guess what? When you've been biting your fingernails for 44 years, it's a lot harder than you think.
It's available to you. That's
Yes.
why. Like, right, like alcohol or beer, and that you can kind of remove it for the most part from your life, right? It's
Yeah.
not like I can't just
But that
drive,
is a very hard
But like
thing.
your fingers are with you all the time. So it's like
The problem is it's
Yeah.
your tick.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like when you're nervous, when you're thinking about something, when you're not
A
fully
default behavior.
occupied, you start. I mean, I tried to support you.
Yeah, no, I had several people trying to support me and tell me when I was doing it, but unfortunately I spend some time alone and I don't
Driving in the car.
I really don't even realize I'm doing it.
Yeah,
so
you probably don't.
I'm thinking that might have to be a goal again, but I may have to get some like support.
Get the nail stuff so when you bite it, it's
yeah.
bitter.
I was trying not to do that. I wanted to just make up my mind and do it. But I kind of made a decision a couple months ago. I'm like, this is not going well. I'm not.
So in
able to do it.
Atomic Habits, that's one of the things they talk about. There's a guy that stopped biting his nails, same concept. And he was like, I started identifying someone that really cares about their nails. And he started getting pedicures.
It's all about identity.
Yeah. And he started getting pedicures. Maybe we get you a pedicure once a month.
I don't know if there's.
I've never had a pedicure.
There's not much
Are you
to
serious?
do here.
Oh, or I mean a manicure. See, you can tell.
What's
I
the
don't.
pedicure?
Pedicure's your
Pedicure's the
toes.
feet.
I've done that.
You should do both because they're both amazing.
I've gotten my feet.
I
yeah.
can't do a pedicure. No one can touch my feet.
Okay, weirdo.
All right, Bailey.
Well, let's
Hit us
hear it,
up
Bailey.
with yours.
I'm very critiquey of myself. My energy does not change at work due to other people's energy. I don't know.
Hard to evaluate. Like every
to me.
day.
No, just like overall consistency.
Oh,
You do a pretty good job.
Yeah.
Of that. I would give you like a A minus, B plus.
I was
on
going to
that.
say a B minus. So
Yeah.
that was
So we're
nice.
not far off.
I would say
You're always gonna-
92%, A minus.
Yeah, I'm in that range. Percentage is a good way to put it.
Maybe you guys just don't see it. You know what I mean?
That's part of it, though.
That's part of it.
It's
yeah,
like,
when you close your door, then
a
nobody
leader,
can see it.
you know?
Then you, yeah.
but also sometimes you gotta.
I mean, when I close my door and take a nap, you guys don't know it.
You do not nap. You're biting your nails.
Probably.
A trip with just me and Luke. Crush that. That's an easy
Boom.
measurable.
Yep.
Arizona, here we come.
Supported by Cole Jaeschke's Airbnb. Thank you.
You got any future trips coming up, you and Luke?
We would like to go back to Arizona, but no, we do not.
Yeah.
Or Colorado. But we do not have one on the schedule. I need to be more consistent because it's easy for me to take a trip and then not do it for like a few years, where I know I need to do it once a year.
Always gonna be busy. Every
Yes.
year, always gonna be busy.
And then connections, spend more intentional times with a friend. I would say I did, yes. This one's tough as well because life's busy. I joined a book club. Great time. I also have a girlfriend that I hung out with quite a bit. So
Oh, yeah? Oh, good. Good for
I
you.
gotta name her. 'Cause it's
No,
weird.
no. I didn't expect
It's not my sister. That's
All right.
that's my go-to.
Yeah, no, I know that's your BFF. But
Yeah. So yeah, it was. I would give my 6 out of 10 on these.
Okay.
Okay.
Sure.
I got
Tough grade.
50-50. You probably crushed
Seven.
I was like
Cole.
75%. I would say
right.
was my grade. To a B minus range, getting into the B's. I think.
If you guys know me, there's something about being intentional. Even if you don't hit the goal, like just even the start of thinking about not biting your nails, it's just the intentionality of who you really want to be. Same concept with money. Where do I really want to do with my money? So that's why it's always good to say them out loud, write them, hold each other accountable, right?
I like the transition there, yeah.
Yeah. So we also are going to recap Full Swings year. This is our first full year.
Yep.
I know it's coming out in January, but November was our first full year as Full Swing Financial Planning.
Let's go.
Do you guys think it was the greatest decision you've ever made?
It was.
Yes.
Because of me?
Yes.
Well, you already worked.
Great. No, we just have a great, great team. It's been honestly just great to see not only our clients evolve, and we're always things are always changing, but how we've made upgrades in technology, our offerings to clients, and then just how we're working together as a staff. I think that's been a really big takeaway, and I think we're starting to see. I think we've all gotten more, just this is my personal opinion, more efficient.
I was just going to say efficiency.
We have more time in the office. You can tell everyone's got a little more free time because we're just not, I don't want to say free time, just like that. We're always so focused.
It's
like
not the constant stress of like, I got to get this done. I got to get this.
We're just fixing less problems and things. I think things are working smooth, like more smooth. So it's been cool to see. And I think our capacity is really growing to continue to serve clients in a better fashion
and take the next step. I would say so too. The number one thing I love is obviously when you're transitioning, it's hard to explain to a listener or a client what that really entails. And transitioning to books, your guys' books, is not an easy task. I mean, it takes a lot of time. It's a lot of communication. It's a lot of paperwork. Obviously worth it, but I love how our team still has the great energy like it's day one at Full Swing. Like I think everyone in our office shows up every day looking to improve or like just good energy or looking for ways to grow. Like I think everyone truly treats it like it's still day one. We're still trying to do the best we can do every day. Like, when you're excited the first day of school. I remember our first day, we were like so nervous.
Yeah, right. All right, for sure.
I think this is a great, when you look back, a great comparison of when you're thinking about making a change or say a client's thinking about retiring, right? There's so many anxieties. And we talked about that, in our client event about, different stages of retirement and things of like, but once you get it done and you transition to that next step or next phase and looking back, you're like, gosh, we should have did this a long time ago. Or you're like, man, this is a much better now that we got it done. And you feel, like that sense of relief. Now, obviously there's times, you make bad decisions too. And you look back the other way, I should have went the other direction, other direction. But this has been one of those times we're looking back like, oh man, I'm very grateful for the people around us.
Well, yeah, we definitely made the right decision to start Full Swing and go with LPL as our broker dealer. It's just, like you said, it just made us so much more efficient and able to work with our clients easier, and also display their accounts. I think the
clients are happy,
statement,
right? Yeah, clients are
client experience. And the number one thing that we were going for was client experience. Is we didn't think that was really great at our last broker dealer, and so
or even our experience,
or advisor experience. But our number one goal was client experience, and I think we have achieved that goal. That clients, I hear far less complaints from clients about visually seeing their accounts online, their statements, things like
just
that.
The ease of processing business. There's no errors. We don't have to go back and fix something or have them re-sign something or be like, hey, sorry, this one in wrong. You know what I mean? I'm not getting the details, but it's just more efficient, cleaner. And let's just say it. Us three are control freaks. We're in control of our own destiny, people, the energy, what we're prioritizing. It's been great. We've had a Medicare event.
So our Medicare event was in October, and we had about 50 people there.
Yeah, it was great. And we did Mexican food.
Yeah.
It was good. And then we had our Full Swing Client Appreciation event, which is everyone's favorite event. You two did a great job with a little speech and then food, music. That was at the Larimore, and that was in December. And that was like 150
we
people.
Had pretty much a full crowd there. I'm not a big, don't like my public events that much. Not my favorite thing. And that's what's been great about you guys. You really pushed me outside my shell.
We forced Kole to do those.
Stay on your thought. This is Kole Jaeschke 3 times now. Just so you guys know, my limit's 2. I can do 2 events. Just
I'm only doing 2
I'm like,
a year.
I heard you say that in January. I heard you say it in July, and I hear you saying it now.
hey, just so you guys know, I'm only doing 2.
I get it.
All right, go on. Sorry.
I'm always grateful when I get done with those of the camaraderie, especially the client appreciation event, because we get a lot of common people in the room, and it's just it's less focused on, hey, how, what stock we're picking or what goal we're doing. It's more of just like people are connecting. Yeah. Camaraderie, common goals. Like it's just a great vibe. And I think anyone that hasn't gone to our event, and go for the first time, they're always like, oh, this is, we really enjoyed the evening. And I just can't,
He doesn't like
thank
talk
everyone.
about his feelings.
Thank everyone enough for it. Thank everyone enough for it. Because I always reflect. I'm like, gosh, it was a really good time.
Well, what I think it does is it connects us with our clients on another level, but it really showcases what we're about, and it showcases how much we care. Like, we're always looking for new ways outside of like planning, like what education can we provide, what event we can provide. So like right now we're working on 2025 events. We've done Social Security, we've done Medicare, we've done taxes. So right now we're like, okay, what do we want to provide to
What
our
do people want to
clients?
hear?
Yes. So working on those. Follow us on social media because that's where our events get announced. Those are open to the public. The client event is only open to clients, obviously, but we do a lot and we're excited. We have some plans, some ideas.
Big things on the horizon.
Kole, do you know what I'm talking about? You know, you thinking about it? Yeah.
No.
You're
We
excited
got some
about that?
teasers coming.
Teasers.
Not yet. We don't got
I'll be the
enough detail to
announcer,
give it
yeah.
out yet, but we got a few good teasers coming.
So yeah, it's been a great year. We're excited to continue to keep growing at full swing. More events to come and just more greatness because the guys hired me and that's why we're great. Just kidding. Just kidding. Okay, what was your guys' favorite? We were talking about how long we've been doing this podcast. We've been doing it a long
Coming up on year
time.
3.
It'll be
The
3
end of year
years.
3. Yeah, end of year 3.
In March.
Yep.
Which reminds me, if you're still listening, like, subscribe, share, because we want more people to listen because we want to keep doing this and we're going to keep doing it, but it makes it easier when we know we're helping people. So favorite episode recap of 2024.
Mine was episode number 20 or episode number 66. And this was, I think the title of the episode was From Scratch to Success, a family recipe for growing the insurance industry. And
Recap it.
Yeah. I mean, main reason I picked this one, we've had so many great guests on, from entrepreneurs, business owners, people that have started from scratch, whatever it might be. But I always love hearing people's story. And, I have a little bit of a personal relationship with Ryan. So it's always, I knew his story before that. And I love to see a family business thrive and just, in our area, treats their people very well and almost
From what it started.
Yeah. And it's such a common theme of a lot of our successful people we've had on the podcast. They treat their people well. They're generally, they're at the heart. They're very caring individuals. And it wasn't so much the ins and outs of the individual podcast, but I just, I could pick all of our entrepreneur segments.
I love
as my
hearing
face.
people's stories too. Like, I think everyone's incredible. Every time they talk, I'm like, oh, no way. That's the greatest story I've ever heard.
Their own
path.
Like and downfalls, right? Everyone went through, it's all, we're in a very, optics world, and it's everyone goes through their stresses and struggles and things, and to see them continue to succeed and challenge themselves is
resilience.
Pretty cool.
Yeah. All right, Colby.
Well, special thank you to all of our guests this year, but my favorite episode was a couple of special guests. Number 58 when we had our spouses on. I figured,
Molly and Chelsea.
Molly, my wife, and Chelsea Jaeschke came out, and we talked a little bit about like when you first got married, like how you. I thought that was really fun because it took me back to when me and Molly first got married. And of course, there were some dark times, but there were some really fun times, and there were some really like, oh yeah, we have to talk about. Oh yeah, we should join our accounts up. That was a conversation we had never had before we got married, and it's kind of funny when
reminiscent.
Well, that and then now I talk to couples that just get married, and I talk and I say, and I can use my experiences from like, we just talked about that on the podcast. Like, me and my wife didn't join up accounts before we got married.
It's very relatable to everyone.
Yeah.
I feel like it is.
Most people go through that at some point.
Like,
and also if you got married 40 years ago, it's fun to listen to the how the spouses interacted, because Kole's story, Baileigh's story, and my story are all different. We all had different situations that brought us to getting married and having kids and all that. So
and money touches everything with your spouse, so it's good to be on the same page.
For sure. What was your favorite episode?
Number 65, personal finance statements everyone makes. And it's probably because I'm really into behavior and language, and I pick up on people's things, and they say one thing, but you can feel another. And I do. Peter had a good point, our producer, like some things people think is normal just because people say it over and over again. And normal isn't supposed to always be normal, and it's not normal. So that was my favorite.
Have you seen the commercial from Progressive where they're like, the economy is kind of, and they talk about it, and like a little kid's like, what does that mean? What is the economy? And they're all like, well, the economy, and none of them can explain.
They can't explain what it is. It's a headline. It's like they take the headline of what like. Oh, I have no idea what that means, but everyone's saying it.
Right. Yeah.
Lots of great episodes.
Uh-oh.
No, they're
I
great.
feel like
I'm
we're going to talk
reminiscing.
about, but we're going to talk about NFL football now.
Oh, yeah. Let's go to the sports because who always wins? Your girl.
Unfortunately.
Yeah,
So we're
girl.
going to recap our picks for the Super Bowl this year. Cole, you had the 49ers. And
No
the
good.
Texans are going to make the playoffs, but
Probably get dumped first round the wild card.
you picked the 49ers to win it all, and I
Tough.
do not think they're 6-8 right now. They're
Yeah.
not going to make the playoffs.
Nope.
I don't
They've
believe.
had some injuries and
They have not officially been eliminated. I looked this morning because I was curious.
We might be wearing jerseys again from the looks of it, right?
Yeah.
So,
Well, we'll
maybe
see.
I'll get you guys T-shirts with my face on them, and then I'll put a crown always wins, something like that. You know,
who are your
trophy.
picks, Cole? You
And
were
I'm
Niners.
going to put right below it chalk because that's what you pick. So we were picking the NCAA later, and she was going to pick Georgia.
Give me the number one
Oregon. I'm
seed.
like, well,
I don't know
everyone picks Oregon and
anything about
Georgia. I mean, they're 1 and
college
2
football. That's Luke's life.
boring. Anyway, I picked the 49ers to win it all. Yeah. And the Ravens, who I think are very good and could have a chance
Yep.
to get to the Super Bowl.
I agree.
But they've got to go through who Baileigh picked, of course, the Chiefs. Shocker.
Shocker, they're on fire still. Like there's no shock. This is just me being in tune with sports.
And the
Thank
40.
you.
We all three picked the 49ers. That was
I just,
stupid of
you
us.
guys, I think had already picked him, so I was like, I got to keep them there in case they do make a run.
If I could change my pick now,
You can't.
I'm just saying I would go with the Buffalo Bills to win the Super Bowl. I think Josh Allen's going to play the best on the stretch. And if the weather's bad,
I still am going to take my
I see
Chiefs.
a bet here because they're in the same
Chiefs.
conference.
I know.
Chiefs, Bills.
I'll take
We
a
got,
bet.
we got enough.
Bills.
Coffee.
How much money you want to bet, Bailey?
problem-
I don't bet
problem
like you.
is-
I'm betting you like a coffee.
The problem
Some
is
protein
Buffalo's
bites
going to
from
have to go to
Stella's.
Kansas
Yep.
City.
Yep.
And I think that's going to be a really tough place for them to win, of course.
You're
It
just
always
assuming
is.
that the Steelers lose on Christmas Day to the Chiefs, then, right? So,
No, the Chiefs only have one loss. The Bills have 3.
oh yeah, so they'd have to
You
lose
should
multiple
see
games.
Cole's
Yeah.
face
Now
right
they have the
Yep.
tiebreaker, but the Chiefs aren't losing
Yep.
2 more games.
No doubt. Yep.
They might lose one, but
The Chiefs are they're gamers. Patrick Mahomes is a
Mahomes.
gamer, and we got the Swifties still behind them. Like it's just the energy's there.
The
Okay.
last game of the year is the Chiefs and the Broncos.
Is it?
And it's going to
Tough
matter
for
for the
you.
Broncos, right? Yeah.
And it might be for the Broncos to get into the playoffs and the Chiefs to get the number 1
As it
seed.
sits
So they
right now.
will
So they're
probably
gonna
flex
squash your
that to
dreams.
Steelers
Sunday night.
Broncos for wild card game
know.
as of right now. So
Well, I'd rather. I think I'd rather go to Pittsburgh right now than go to Buffalo.
Yes,
that's for sure.
You're going? Are you putting on the helmet?
No. I mean,
kidding.
have,
You missed the
have the
joke.
Broncos go.
I know. I do this. It's a joke.
I am going. If the Steelers win and happen to go to Kansas City by any chance, I'm going to try to go. So
That'll be awesome.
Yep.
Good for you. All right. NCAA football picks, right? That's where we're going next?
Yeah. Well, we're just going to do a pick. We don't want to bore the listeners this more. Just
Penn
start.
State, boom.
Boom. Okay. I'm Notre Dame. Pick.
And we just to caveat, we couldn't pick the 1 or the 2 seed because Bailey wanted to pick chalk again.
They all got to play the same amount of games.
We couldn't pick the
This
1,
is
2, 3,
the only
or 4.
time I have ever done that.
1, 2, 3, or 4. I am taking Ohio. No, sorry, Texas.
Yep. You were going to take
I
Ohio
was going to
State.
take Ohio State, but they got to play Oregon in the second round, so I'm going to take Texas.
Yep. Okay. You
And
heard it.
shout out Caitlin Clark, Time Player of the Year, first WNBA. Let's go.
That is, and that photo is ridiculous
Dude,
of her.
she
She
looks-
is chiseled.
She looks like, I can't swear, a BA on that
Yeah.
cover. A lot
She
of
looks-
controversy, which is stupid, but she deserves it.
She looks good. Yeah.
She's killing it.
This podcast is produced by Spin Market and Digital. Located in Fort Dodge, Iowa, Spin Market's highly skilled team can help you increase your market by updating your website, improving SEO, designing advertisements, and producing podcasts that will grab the attention of your market. Contact Spin Market today for all your digital marketing needs at digitalagent@spinmarket.com or call us at 515-302-8026. And to learn more, visit our website at www.spinmarket.com. That's digitalagent@spinmarket.com or 515-302-8026. Or visit our website at www.spinmarket.com.
Let's do our first dollars and cents of 2025.
Dollar bills, y'all.
You guys are just on point with that, aren't you?
Crushed it.
All right. The best of the best. NVIDIA, Netflix. in the past 20 years, they're the top 2 best performing stocks of the S&P 500. And then Netflix they were mailing DVDs to your house. That was like how
Isn't
they
that
started.
crazy?
That's how they started. Like now it's all streaming. Like and talk about like evolution of a business model of like we were talking about Blockbuster.
That's what I was
like,
just gonna
went
say.
from VHS to Blockbuster to streaming, internet. Internet just changed the trajectory of that whole space, and they just capitalized on it the right way.
Do you get sad that your kids will never experience going to Blockbuster, picking out the
loved
candy,
that.
rocking through the aisle, picking out the movie? Now my kids are like, this way, this way, this way. I'm like, oh my God.
Chelsea, I remember like when we first started dating, we were still
Yes.
going to get movies, like DVDs. Like I was like, oh, that was...
Well, they used to have Family Video here in
Yeah,
Fort
that's
Dodge.
how-
When we first moved back, we would still go there and rent that. Now that's
You'd have
closed.
a late fee, all risky.
R.I.P.
for,
Yeah.
for
I got a late fee on my account?
Or if it was scratched, you had to take it back.
Well, I still remember the VHS and like DVD combo. You
Oh,
would
yeah.
buy a combo
Yeah.
thing so you could play either one. Yeah, those don't exist anymore. Obviously, the VHS.
Kids don't even know what DVDs are anymore, I don't think. So.
Well, Luke has a pile in our basement and a thing, and I've asked to get rid of him, but he refuses. So the kids will pull him out.
I feel like you're going to
sometimes.
make records, like how records are.
We still have
got some
DVDs
too.
and we will pop them in because sometimes the movies aren't free on the streaming services. You go to watch A Wonderful Life during Christmas, and you got to
Well,
pay
my
$1.99.
4-year-old knows how to purchase it.
Well,
That's
that's the
scary.
thing is that if we have the movie, I'm not going to purchase
Yeah.
it.
Did you get that on Amazon?
Okay, if you know, start off successfully this year. You just got to start making some goals. And what do we talk about? Money, right? That's what we're here for.
I think so.
Financial
We're
goals.
How to Money, isn't that our name of the show? How to Money.
How
think.
do you money with Kole?
I don't know.
and Kole? No, I'm just kidding. So it is important. Obviously, we love to get with our clients in the beginning of the year, but for yourself, we just want to discuss having a clear financial roadmap, just reduce some stress and help you achieve some financial goals. So let's talk about the way they can start this year off strong financially, Kole Petersen.
Yeah, we're going to start to talk about some short-term, mid-term, and long-term goals, like things that you can set for yourself. Number 1 on my list is pay off credit card debt. Credit card debt is at all-time highs. I'm assuming some people that are listening to this podcast have credit card debt. And you really need to hammer down on that because interest rates on those are typically between 15 to 25%. You should not carry credit card debt for especially now. There always is a situation where people get in situations where maybe you can't pay it off by the end of the month or, for 1 or 2 months. Emergencies happen, right? But if you have been carrying a balance on a credit card for over 12 months, you should definitely get with a financial advisor or with somebody that can set you up with a budget to get out from underneath that credit card debt within the next 12 to 24 months. If you don't have a plan to get out from underneath credit card debt, you probably will not.
I think, every time I meet with someone brand new, especially if they're younger, and I know maybe they're more on the budget side or setting it, like that's where the meeting's going. It's less maybe asset management, more like, just financial
planning.
literacy type things. I'm always asking, what do you have for an emergency fund? Right. And that's, generally 3 to 6 months of your monthly living expenses. And that's generally, if they don't have an emergency fund, is generally when the credit card debt comes, right? Because emergencies happen, fridge goes out, you need tires,
Yes.
something happens to your car, you don't have any of that 3 to 6 months, but you have available balance on a credit card, goes on a credit card, and then you just kind of compound the cycle. So it always starts with one of those two, right? Now, some people start from the whole right away, but if you have 6 months of, emergency funds set aside,
You don't rely on
you can
that
absorb,
credit card.
you can absorb some of those, now if there's an extraordinary thing or, always a caveat there, but a lot of times you should be able to absorb. That's what that's there for. That's your kind of first line of defense. So you don't have to put something on a credit card and pay interest on.
And then I'm going to take it a step further back. What is a good way to know if you have enough of emergency fund or start funding your emergency fund to alleviate this credit card debt? Or even if you have credit card debt, a budget, because a budget is going to lay that foundation, which is the best short-term goal to do. Everyone in the beginning of the year should do their budget, is because then you can see how much am I putting towards my emergency fund? Is my emergency fund fully funded? Yes. Then how much can I start paying towards these debts? So those are great both points, but you can't attack credit card debt and you can't save for emergency fund if you don't have it, if you don't know where your money's going.
Amen.
Know where your money's going, pay off bad debt, and don't use your credit card line of credit as your emergency fund. Actually build an emergency fund that you can get, get access to.
And this is my favorite because I love the beginning of the year. It's just a nice reset. It's just everyone is in that energized mode. What I do, and obviously I've budgeted the previous years, so I know when my expenses. So I'll sit down, I'll just like make an Excel sheet, January, February, March, whatever, and I'll just put the ones you really don't think about, like car tags here, or like somebody's birthday here, trip here, and then that way.
I just got all my card. I'm getting all my car tags now. My birthday's January,
Yeah.
so all of
So
our
that
stuff
way
starts
though,
coming. Yep.
so you have your like basic monthly expenses, but now you have those sinking funds also kind of created. So that would be my budgeting tip of the beginning of the years for you guys. So
Bailey the budgeter.
yeah, that's a
Do
good
it over. You know, most people have some days off between Christmas and New Year's.
Yeah.
Take a morning, take an afternoon, take an evening, whatever, and sit down and do your budget. If you can bring up your statements on a computer or your phone or whatnot, you can do it fairly quickly. And just write it down month by month.
A lot of free programs out there.
Even if you are overwhelmed, like we have people coming in. I had a gal come in, she's got some debt and she's younger. Come work with someone. We'll walk you through a budget. We'll walk you
We
through
have the
a
tools
debt
to help
repayment.
you. Yeah, to make it
Sometimes
simple.
it's just needing the coaching. So yeah.
Or accountability partner.
Yeah. Great short-term goals to start off the year. Start off the year strong by just laying a foundation.
There we go. Let's move to midterm goals. Mm-hmm. So this is 5 years or less. If you have not got yourself life or disability insurance, and there are some situations when people don't need life and disability insurance, but if you have not talked with somebody about that, whether you should or should not get it, or you've been putting that off, make that a midterm goal that you're going to do that within the next 5 years. But that is my number one on this list that I think is very important. You got to protect the people that you love the most with life and disability insurance, because that's who will be affected if something happens to you where you pass away, or if you get disabled where you can't work.
Life insurance. Like if you do not have it or you need to adjust it, whatever, or anyone's age, when you have family, it is so important. And everyone's like, oh, I'll take care of it later. Oh, I'll take care. You never know when something's going to happen. And we don't want the worst situation to become even more stressful. Well, I would feel like you guys would agree with.
It's one luxury of sitting on our side of the client advisor table is we see the bad side. So we know the importance of it, right? Mm-hmm. We have the bad stories where, father passes away and leaves 3 kids behind, and they have a bunch of debt and no income now. So that's why, no one wants to think about life insurance, think about dying, but it's such an important thing, especially you have debt, or you have people relying on either you to pay the bills or, relying on your income. So
something for people to consider too. Yes, most major employers will give you life insurance. Will give you some sort of life insurance policy. You need to look into what that is.
I love this point you're going with.
Because I just had this.
I have it through work.
I have it through work.
And
I had this conversation with a client just the other day. They just got married, just had a kid. Kid's not even 3 months old, and he said, I have life insurance through work. Okay. Well, I need you to send me what you have, or send me your booklet for your work, and I'll look it up. And I looked it up. He got $10,000. And he thought he had life insurance through work. Well, your insurance at work typically doesn't give you $1 million worth of life insurance. They're paying for a small policy.
Like
sometimes it's a percentage of your annual income.
Yeah. Sometimes it's 1 or 2 times your income, but this one was $10,000, and it was very specific in his
which does not go. Handbook. That doesn't bury you.
$10,000 won't even bury you. And when I told him that, he was like, "Oh, I didn't know that. I just thought I had life insurance through work." And then so we did a policy for him because he needed one. And obviously that's something that you need to look at. Don't just think you have it through work. You need to know how much you have through work, and if that will cover you. I always think having life insurance outside of work,
I think it's super advantageous. You don't know if you're ever always going to be employed. It's usually not enough. Term insurance is so affordable.
Never know when your insurability is going to change.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So let's say I'm working at this job for 10 years. I'm like, oh, I've always had it with them. I leave this job, and my next job maybe doesn't have it, or same. And then I go try to get insurance. I might not be able to get it, or it might be super expensive. The younger you get it, while you're healthy, it's always like, it's like an emergency fund. You usually don't need it when you have it. It just usually is just like, but when you don't have it is when you need it.
Yep.
Same with life insurance. Mm-hmm. So. Kole J, what's another good mid-year term someone could start reflecting?
Yeah, so when we talk, like the midterm savings goals, things that are maybe you're beyond that emergency savings. Maybe you've checked that bucket off. You don't have any of the credit card debt, But now you're like, hey, I know, we're going to need, our family's growing. We're going to need a bigger car, or we're going to need a bigger house. We're starting to build those midterm savings buckets of like, maybe we're transitioning up into a bigger house, or we're going from renting to buying. Those are, or could be, hey, we want to start saving for college because we want to have $10,000 for each child, when they reach 18 that we can give them for college.
I won't get them too far, by the way.
I know. I
started looking at college expenses the other day, and holy cow.
Cole P's been on this because his son's a little older than us.
Yeah, my son's 14. I mean, he's a freshman in high school and about ready to turn 15. But man, I mean, most people don't have to pay full tuition, right? I mean, most people have to.
A lot of people do. I would say it's a mix.
But there's
opportunities. Yeah,
and
some people will take advantage of them.
Yeah, there's but still, holy cow! Even if you got half of it paid for, I mean, it's tens of thousands of dollars a year now.
That's why we have a student debt problem.
Right.
Well, and the cost of
of
college, which is
that's what I'm saying.
Whole nother thing.
That's not what this episode's about. We're staying positive. We're hitting some goals.
Positive.
Yeah. Like another thing is too, like if you want to plan for a vacation, start saving. Like you're in a good place. You have your emergency fund. Like what do you want to enjoy? Like start saving, and don't like. I always think it's so funny when people are like, I want to pull out of an account. I want to go on vacation. Well, you could have plan for these types of things, or you know what I mean. Just
it's a great point.
They're not surprises
because you see,
it's not a surprise.
We see that we're like, oh, I want to take a trip, so I might take a distribution from this account, or they put it on the credit card all of a sudden, and it's like then when in reality, hey, if we would have thought about this a year and a half ago and budgeted a little bit for it or set some money aside. Yep. Be intentional about it. Then we don't have to rely on either dipping into the emergency savings or the credit card bill that we're going to, carry a balance on through just to fund a vacation.
Correct. Okay. We've got the foundation. We're hitting some midterms. We're visualizing the year, how we want to go. Okay. Some long-term goals. Long-term
goals. Cole.
Go, Cole.
That's a tough one to say.
I know.
I love, obviously we do retirement planning for our job. So my favorite thing to do is
build
to
retirement plans.
Build retirement plans and look at the future. I love looking at the future, like 20 years down the road when they're actually looking at retiring. I might be talking about myself. I don't know.
He was working on his
actually
4% withdrawal.
What is my actual balance maybe going to be based on historical returns and based on inflation? And so I love to look. So if you haven't put a retirement plan together and looked out to the future 10, 20 years, 30 years even, get with a retirement planner and do that.
Absolutely.
It is eye-opening if you are a good saver, or if you're not a good saver. It is eye-opening like, hey, I'm going to have to work till I'm 85, or I can retire at 55 comfortably because I'm saving a lot now. So if you haven't ever done it, it is a long-term goal I think people should make to actually look into the future.
I think it's fun, but we're kind of nerds, and it's the intentionality of and I think it also leads to coming back to the little things, your budget, your spending. Am I saving enough for retirement? That's probably the number one question I think we get. Am I saving enough? What's the rule of thumb?
How am I doing? How am I doing?
Yeah. And obviously this long-term goals really gets you think like me and Luke, we want to move here when we're retired, or we want to do this in retirement. What do we need to, and it really gets you thinking and brings you back to what do we need to do and sacrifice now to get to that long-term goal?
We've used this phrase, but that work optional phrase, right? And I always tell people, if retiring early, that's the hardest thing I think for us to solve for people, or to help them, is hey, I want to retire at 55 or 50, something really aggressive. And we always say you can do it, but it's your savings is what's going to do it. What you're making, what type of income, and then your savings, and what do you want to spend, right? So, and the earlier you plan and start being intentional about where you want to go, the probability of that success happening just goes up and up and up. And I kind of reflecting on this, so I was thinking of we really do, this is what we do on a daily basis. We really hit all three of these, that short-term, midterm, long-term goals. As everyone kind of starts with the basic short-term goals, budgeting, paying off your debts, and then we're transitioning those mid goals of buying a house, upgrading cars, starting college education for kids, whatever it might be. And then to that, final phase of the retirement planning phase.
And I think goals in life are just overwhelming sometimes, but I think money is very overwhelming for a lot of people. The topic, the younger, or if you just don't even know where to get going, it's where do I pay off debt, or where should I save, or there's just so many moving pieces. any problem ignored is just going to be amplified. Do not ignore your money problems. Do not ignore your money goals. You need to set them because it's going to touch your life short-term, long-term, all the way through. I mean, it's something that you really need to be intentional about.
Do it as early as possible. We unfortunately run into people that are in their 60s that's the first time they've ever came to a financial advisor or done a budget or anything like that. And it's like, it's never too late, but it is going to affect your future, how you can retire, when you can retire, things like that, if you don't settle those things now.
And it's, again, problem deferred. It's going to come up. The problem's coming up at some point in time. Let's face it now. Get through. And it doesn't even have to be a problem. Goal setting can just be intentionally knowing what you want and getting through maybe harder times. So, yeah. Bring out 2025. Let's go.
It's going to be. It's that time of year getting close here where you have to scratch out 2024.
Yeah, when you keep signing the wrong
like 3
year.
months, until like April. April.
No, you did. Peter, I was like, what?
Peter's showing us a form where he had already made that mistake. So,
yeah,
that's awesome.
All right. Well, we thank everyone for another great year listening in 2024. We're excited for year 2025. Great things to come for Full Swing. Great team, great people. So we appreciate you listening and look forward to the year.
Everyone have a Merry Christmas.
Well, comes out in January, so
Happy New Year.
Yeah. Happy New Year. The only real limitation is the one you set for yourself. Muhammad Ali.
Go Cubs.
You've been listening to How to Money with Kole and Kole, the podcast of Full Swing Financial Planning. To learn more, visit their website at www.fullswingfinancial.com and follow them on Facebook and LinkedIn.
For now, I'm Kole.
I'm Baileigh.
And I'm Kole.
And we'll see you on the greens. 4.
Security and advisory services offered through LPL Financial, a registered investment advisor, member FINRA SIPC.